Cowardly Lion. Dorothy clutched her basket, trying not to worry about her dwindling food supply. As she and her friends walked along the yellow brick road, a deep growl suddenly rumbled through the forest. Dorothy's heart pounded. Even Toto, who usually barked at strange sounds, stood silent with his ears perked up. "How much longer until we're out of this forest?" Dorothy asked the Tin Woodman. "I'm not sure," he replied. "I've never been to the Emerald City. But don't worry, I'm not afraid as long as I have my oil can, and nothing can hurt the Scarecrow. You have the Good Witch's kiss to protect you." "But what about Toto?" Dorothy asked. "Who will protect him?" "We will," promised the Tin Woodman. "We'll keep him safe." Just then, a terrifying roar shook the trees. A huge lion jumped onto the path in front of them. His golden mane stood on end, his claws gleamed, and his eyes blazed fiercely. With a powerful leap, he knocked over the Scarecrow, sending straw flying everywhere. Then he swiped his paw at the Tin Woodman, tipping him over with a loud clang. Finally, he turned towards Toto, who jumped from Dorothy's arms and barked bravely despite being so small. The Cowardly Lion opened his huge jaws, but before he could touch Toto, Dorothy rushed forward and slapped the Cowardly Lion right on his nose. "Don't you dare!" she shouted. "You should be ashamed, picking on those smaller than yourself." The Cowardly Lion blinked in surprise and backed away. "You hit me," he said, his voice much softer than Dorothy expected. Dorothy put her hands on her hips. "Of course I did. You're nothing but a big bully." To Dorothy's amazement, the Cowardly Lion hung his head and looked ashamed. I didn't really want to hurt anyone," he whimpered. "I just try to scare folks because I'm actually afraid." "Afraid?" asked the Scarecrow, who was gathering his scattered straw. "But you're a lion." "That's the problem," the Cowardly Lion sighed heavily. "Everyone expects me to be brave and fierce, but the truth is, I'm a coward. I'm afraid of everything. Even your little dog scares me." "If you're so afraid, why did you try to frighten us?" asked the Tin Woodman as Dorothy helped him up. "I learned that if I roar loudly, everyone runs away before they discover what a coward I am," explained the Cowardly Lion. "When I see people, I get terribly frightened, but I just roar at them, and they run away thinking I'm fierce." He looked down sadly. "If elephants or tigers ever stood up to me, I'd run away myself. But they all flee when they hear me, and I let them think I'm brave." Dorothy felt sorry for him now. "That must be awful, pretending to be something you're not." The Cowardly Lion nodded. "I wish I had courage, but I don't know how to get it." Dorothy's face brightened. "We're going to the Emerald City to see the Wizard of Oz. I want to go home to Kansas. The Scarecrow wants brains, and the Tin Woodman wants a heart. Maybe the wizard could give you courage, too." The Cowardly Lion's ears perked up. "Do you think so?" he asked hopefully. "Why not?" said the Scarecrow. "If he can help us, he can help you." The Cowardly Lion took a deep breath. "Then I shall go with you." Dorothy smiled. "We'd be glad to have you." As they continued walking, Dorothy noticed the Cowardly Lion always stayed in the middle of the group, as if unsure about leading or following. They talked about what each wanted from the wizard. "Which is better, courage, brains, or a heart?" asked the Tin Woodman. The Cowardly Lion thought carefully. "I have known animals with big brains who still do foolish things, and some with tender hearts who aren't always kind. But when someone has courage, they can face anything, even when afraid." "But without brains," said the Scarecrow, "how would you know when to be brave?" "And without a heart," added the Tin Woodman, "would you be brave for others?" Dorothy smiled. "I think you're each asking for just the right thing." Later that day, the Tin Woodman accidentally stepped on a beetle, crushing it. To everyone's surprise, he began to cry. "It was alive," he sobbed, "and now it's not, because of me." The tears ran down his face and into his jaw hinges. Soon he couldn't speak. His mouth had rusted shut. Dorothy quickly used the oil can to fix him. "Thank you," he said. "This teaches me to watch where I step. If I cry again, my joints will rust, and I won't be able to move." From then on, the Tin Woodman walked carefully, even stepping over tiny ants. "You all have hearts to guide you," he told his friends. "Since I don't have one yet, I must be extra careful. When Oz gives me a heart, I'll know the right way to act without thinking so hard about it." As the sun began to set, Dorothy's stomach growled loudly. "We need to find food soon," she said. "I've only got a little bread left." "I'll help you find something to eat," offered the Cowardly Lion. "I know where fruit trees grow in this forest." Dorothy smiled gratefully as they continued down the yellow brick road. The group of 4 friends, plus Toto, journeyed together to find what each one needed most: the Emerald City. The trees thinned, and soon Dorothy and her friends reached a bright open field. Far in the distance, something sparkled in the sunlight. "The Emerald City!" Dorothy gasped. They hurried forward, and as they got closer, they saw tall, gleaming green walls surrounding the city. The walls were smooth as glass, shining like giant emeralds. At the entrance stood a great green gate, guarded by a little man about the same size as the Munchkins. He was dressed in green robes and a pointed green hat. Even his skin had a greenish tint. At his side was a large green box. "What are you hoping to find in the Emerald City?" he asked when he saw Dorothy and her companions. "We have come to see the Wizard of Oz," Dorothy replied. The guardian frowned. "The wizard does not see visitors often. Why do you seek him? He rules the Emerald City wisely. But to those who are not honest or who approach him from curiosity, he is most terrible, and few have ever dared ask to see his face." "I want him to send me back to Kansas," said Dorothy. "I want a brain," said the Scarecrow. "I want a heart," said the Tin Woodman. "And I want courage," said the Cowardly Lion. The guardian looked at them for a long moment, took a big golden key from a peg on the wall, and finally said, "Very well, I will take you inside." He opened the green gate and led them through the towering walls. "Before you enter," he said, "you must wear these." From a small golden box, he took out green spectacles and carefully placed a pair on each of them. "You must wear these at all times," he explained. "The brightness of the Emerald City is too dazzling for unprotected eyes." Even with their eyes protected by the glasses, they were still dazzled by the city's green glow. The streets were paved with smooth green stones, and the houses were built of shimmering green marble. The shops sold green candy, popcorn, shoes, hats, and clothes. Even the people wore green clothes. A man was selling green lemonade, and when children bought it, Dorothy saw them pay with green pennies. People stared at Dorothy and her unusual group with wide eyes. The children, frightened by the Cowardly Lion, ran to hide behind their mothers, and no one spoke to them. There were no horses or animals in sight. Instead, the men pushed small green carts to carry their goods. Everyone looked happy, content, and prosperous. "The most beautiful city I've ever seen," Dorothy whispered. The guardian led them through the winding green streets to a great palace, its towers glittering like emeralds in the sunlight. "You must wait here," he said. "The wizard sees only one visitor per day." Dorothy and her friends were each given a private room in the palace. That night, Dorothy and Toto took a warm bath in a shimmering green tub, and she was given a beautiful green silk dress to wear. The next morning, the guardian led Dorothy to the throne room. The room was vast, with high emerald ceilings and polished green walls. At the far end sat the Wizard of Oz, but to Dorothy's astonishment, he was a giant floating head. The head had no body, only a pair of fierce glowing eyes and a booming voice that echoed through the hall. "I am Oz, the great and powerful." Dorothy's knees trembled, but she bravely stepped forward. "Who are you, and why do you seek me?" the wizard demanded. "I am Dorothy, and I wish to return to Kansas," she said. The wizard's voice thundered. "Why should I grant your request?" Dorothy swallowed hard. "Because a cyclone carried me here, and I only wish to go home." For a long moment, the wizard was silent. Then he said, "I will consider your request, but first, you must destroy the Wicked Witch of the West." Dorothy's heart sank. The Wicked Witch of the West was said to be even more terrible than the one she had crushed with her house. The guardian led her out of the room. The next day, the Scarecrow was brought in. But instead of a floating head, he saw a beautiful lady with wings sitting on a throne. "I am Oz," she said. "What do you seek?" "I want a brain," the Scarecrow said eagerly. "Then, destroy the Wicked Witch of the West, and I shall grant your wish." The Scarecrow bowed and was led away. On the third day, the Tin Woodman entered. But instead of a lady, he saw a huge beast, shaped like a rhinoceros, with 5 eyes and a fierce growl. "I am Oz," the beast rumbled. "What do you seek?" "I wish for a heart," the Tin Woodman said. "Then destroy the Wicked Witch of the West, and I shall grant your wish." Finally, on the 4th day, the Cowardly Lion was led in. To his great fear, he saw a blazing ball of fire floating in midair. "What do you seek?" the fire asked. The Cowardly Lion's knees shook, but he managed to say, "I want courage." "Then destroy the Wicked Witch of the West." Frightened, the Cowardly Lion rushed from the room. He was glad when he saw his friends waiting for him outside. "The wizard looked different to each of us," said Dorothy with wonder. "But he told us all the same thing," said the Tin Woodman. "We must destroy the Witch of the West." Dorothy sighed. "Then we have no choice. If we want the wizard's help, we must find the Wicked Witch of the West." They decided to leave the next morning. The Tin Woodman sharpened his axe and oiled his joints, while the Scarecrow restuffed himself with fresh straw. Dorothy even touched up his eyes with paint so he could see better. A kind green girl packed Dorothy's basket with food and tied a small bell around Toto's neck with a green ribbon. That night, they went to bed early and slept soundly until a green rooster crowed at dawn, followed by a hen clucking over a green egg. As they prepared to leave, Dorothy felt both worried and hopeful. She had no idea how they would defeat the witch, but she believed that somehow they would succeed. Then, perhaps, the great wizard would finally send her home to Kansas.